Well, hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and this week I'm going to show you one from my stash here, as this is a kit that I like, and I've had a lot of fun building these. But I remember buying this kit. And this kit's from 1987 or thereabouts, and that's the date that's on the box. But anyway, and then I built one when this was new, and you can walk into the store and buy it. Now, my build wasn't all that great. I had some fitting issues. It was one of the few that were not molded in color, because at the time in the 80s, a lot of the Monogram and Revell hot rod kits were molded in colors. You didn't have to paint them. As a beginning modeler, I'd liked that. That was pretty cool. But this one came in gray and you had to paint it. And then you had to fit the front end on it. So those were a bit of challenges, but I was able to build it, and I was very proud of myself for building it. And I remember I painted it black. I put these stripes on it. I left the hood stock. I didn't cut a hole in the hood. The blower was pretty cool, but looking at the box, I did it black. I didn't do the stock wheels. I remember that. Put the decals on it. But I thought this front end was just really cool, the Endura front end. The custom wheels and the stock interior and the big blower there. But some pretty cool stuff in this kit. So, when it comes to at the box and appealing and everything, some pretty cool stuff. It's got the 400 engine in there. Here's dated 1987. Just a pretty cool kit. Now, there's a lot of chatter and whatnot about the MPC GTOs, and they get a bad rap, and I get that. I completely understand, as this kit really hasn't reappeared in its stock form since this issue. Now it's that full-on, dirt track car with the real cut-up body, can't be built stock, and parts of this have ended up in the 67 GTO kit for some reason, as they tried to keep that kit going along. And I don't know the full detail, but this front end is in there, and the seats from this kit are in there. So parts of those trees were used to keep the 67 going. So that one gets a bad rap. And the 72 is still around as well. But there's a few differences in that one. It's kind of surprising. But this is one of my favorites, and we'll get into it here. And it's kind of open. It's kind of not. Like I mentioned, here's that body. Pretty cool body. And then it's had some restoration work. So, lights have been moved, emblems have been moved. So you can kind of see some of the stuff on the body here. But I think, they were converting it from 71 back to 70, because, you can kind of see in the mold there. So I got a funny feeling that some of this has to do with the 72 tooling, especially right there where the 72 has GTO back here, or the 71 did. No, the 72 had it. So you can kind of see where it's been worked there. And then the emblems on the back here. And just, this body, it's just got its marks and wounds here, I should say. So, but it has the front turn signals right in there. And, pretty much all nice stuff, and pretty decent engraving right here. You got to cut this out. But, you can kind of see that it's getting worn by this time. And, it's not even 30 years old at this point. But the tooling has taken quite a beating. So, but still, it's a buildable kit. And then here's your interior tub with the nice engraving, the console, manual transmission, all the pedals there. So pretty decent interior, and it's got the dog legs here for kind of a convertible, which the coupe really doesn't have that. So it's kind of funny that it's in there, but it's the way it is. But pretty nice, it's not bad. Then your really simple chassis. But this is the short chassis. There's a longer one that there's in the 67. So it's kind of funny that they did that. And then the holes for the wheels. This one, they're kind of in good positions, but when you get to the 67, they keep moving them around because different wheelbases between the two bodies. So that's kind of why the wheels don't fit anymore, or they don't line up between the 72 and the 67. Is they're different wheelbases, and all they did was move the holes around. So, this one, the wheels actually line up in the wheel openings, but it's just kind of, that's why that's going on. And then it's got this seat here for the funny car version that was around at one time. So it's kind of funny. Real quick, one more thing I forgot to mention when I was thinking about tips and what makes this a little bit harder to build is in here, the mounting pins have all been lost and removed. So when it came to locating this interior tub or locating the glass, there's nothing that really keeps. So if you take your time and center that as nicely as you can, get it to fit. And then same thing with the chassis. The original ones had screw holes. This one don't. I kind of like that they don't, because it gives it a little bit better look to it. But at the same time, there's nothing for the height here in the back, and there's nothing in the front, so there really isn't anything to locate it. The pins are in pretty much the right spot as far as getting the wheels centered. So when you got the wheels on, it kind of helps you figure out where exactly it goes. But yeah, that's just another one of the issues with this kit, is because of that, lining some of the stuff is a bit of a pain. So taking your time helps. So the chrome tree, something else with this. Lots of neat stuff. You got these funky side pipes, the blower, these carbs here for the blower, fuel pumps, stock carb, all the Pontiac wheels here, headers, the chrome valve covers, more blower parts, the gas pedal, the foot gas pedal, which I always thought that was kind of funny. I don't think I've ever actually put that in a kit, maybe way back when. Blower manifold, alternator here. I think that's a starter, but I'm not really sure. You got your lights in the front there. There's the stock grill. Then the custom wheels, shallow and deep, so they're really deep. Should be Pro Street tires, but the tires they give you are just atrocious. And then here's the rear bumper. But this rear bumper, it's different from the 72 kit and the 71 kit, as its spacing around the license plate is pretty small. And interestingly, this one actually fits the body. And it'll actually fit the 71 and 72 bodies as well. So I've used this, cast this one, and used it on the 72s, so that the 72 kit's bumper is much wider. I mean, I swear, you think it's a 1/4 inch wider, but it's more like an 1/8 of an inch wider. But this bumper that's in this 70 kit fits, but it doesn't really appear anymore. So we'll put this away and continue on here. I kind of like to keep my chrome in the bag, just when it's stored. But here's the tires, and of course we got the Goodyear Polyglass GTs that ERTL was using at that time and had made. And I kind of like these, when you detail them up, but there are some better tires, but at the time I like those. And then they give you these for the custom ones, these Rally GTs. They just really, not really a Pro Street tire. Kind of are, kind of not. I don't know. I never really cared for these, but that's what they gave you. So put those away. Now when it comes to the rest of this, you can kind of see the shared parts. Here's the engine, the manifolds, all of this stuff. The drag race seat, which there might be 2 of them in here. I think there's only one, but I can't remember. I got another kit as well. The manual tranny that just kind of really goofy. The roll bar, wheel backs. And then here's the ram air part for the 67 is in here. So, I mean, you don't use it for this particular version, but it's there. Well, you could use it actually, but it's not correct. And then here's the same tree that's with the 67, the stock exhaust molded with the rear axle. Here's the 70 seats, that belong in this one, the nose cone. But these parts are in that 67 kit, and they've been around a while. Here's that other seat, by the way. And, your stock hood. This spoiler that's kind of like the Judge, but not the Judge. Your front wheels with the axle pins, firewall. Your battery there. And you've got your coil spring shocks, your radiator support with radiator. And here's your rear valance panel. those are for the front or rear axle. I don't remember at this point which they're for, but I think that's for the rear to jack it up, actually. Spaces it down. And here's the headrest for the seat. They don't fit all that great, but you can get them to fit. And then you've got your stock 70 dash right here, which is pretty decent. Your front and rear windows, those fit pretty well. And you got your little bit small 70 taillights. And then, you know, the Pontiac steering wheel, stock steering wheel. And here's the grill insert with GTO on it. Let's just put that anywhere. But anyway, there's the insert here. And your fairly simple instructions. I've got extra parts in here. Here's the other spoiler piece. Metal axle, of course. That's a extra chrome valve cover. I have extra parts that I pulled aside but missed that. Then what I thought these were cool, give you all of these different stickers or decals for racing that were kind of fun to do. Here's those decals that I fondly remember using, which I won't use again. But, you know, as I plan to do this one as a regular black GTO. But your pretty simple instructions. See, it tells you to use that air cleaner and air cleaner base. And then, you know, pretty simple. Those shocks are for the custom version only. Yeah, to lift the rear axle, that's what those are for. Just trying to remember some of this stuff. It was kind of fun. Instructions are fairly decent, but the order they have you build it, and then gluing the front end on and all of the parts to detail it. But it can be put together. I wish the bumper was actually dated 1970, but it's not, as I prefer those. But yeah, this thing, it can be built pretty nice, and a lot of them, if you take your time on them, you can get them built up nice. Now let's put all this back in here. Now for me, you know, I just fond memories, and it's not that hard of a kit to actually build, but it can be built. But if you guys have seen my channel, here's what I built one of them as. Here's a 70 GTO Judge. Now it's not really box stock. I added the wing. This is a resin wing. It used to be from AFX and Scale Resin, which, you know, of course, they're long gone. You can't get them anymore. But I had bought a number of them. Here's the hood. Then I added the spoiler here in the front. That's a Judge item, but it's not in the kit. And trying to remember where I got it from. I think from one of the MPC Trans Ams from the 70s. Decals are Keith Marks on this one. And then I did a few things like change the exhaust. Now it's funny because those ended up my part stash, but I'm actually working on the Miami Vice Daytona, the 72 Daytona. That's where those exhaust tips came from. I was trying to remember where they, because I parted that kit out, but that's where the exhaust pipes went. I didn't go crazy on this one. This one's got the whole stock chassis and everything, but I did add an air cleaner to give it the ram air cleaner, but I kind of left, you know, the engine alone, even though it doesn't have an upper radiator hose, which is kind of funny. I like to kind of add that stuff, but really didn't, you know, go to town on this one. But that's pretty much, you know, you take your time building and fitting it, and you can build it like this. Now, I do have a video on this, and added the mirror from the 69 Camaro. Now, if that isn't enough, I had this one kind of came to me in a funny matter, as I have trouble passing this kit up, and I was at a swap meet a while ago, and this is 15 years ago, and another vendor had one of these, and he was next to me, and throughout the show, he wanted to trade me. There was a AMT 63 Corvette split window I had, you know, pretty common kit. But he's like, I'm interested in that kit, but I'd rather trade instead of just buy it from you. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm eyeballing that 70 Pontiac GTO you got over there. What's that like? He goes, oh, well, the body's damaged on that, but other than that, it had a broken A-pillar. I mean, really badly broken A-pillar where something caught it, pulled it, stretched it. It was pretty bad. So I traded him, and then I cut the roof off and made this into a convertible. And I made it a GTO Judge convertible. Now this boots a model Haas of the 68, 69 kit, GTO MPC kit. So I did that, added seat belts, flocking, detailed it, even got the key hanging from the steering column. Some photo etch parts, added door handles. I went to town on this one. So much so that the whole underside is a completely different kit. This is a old Cutlass 442, the 68, 69 kits. Well, 69 kits. But this is the manual tranny version. So this is the regular 442 chassis I switched into here. Added that same front spoiler, the wheels here, and then swapped out the Pontiac motor and used that whole engine compartment, and one from the Revell, what was that, the Firebird, the 68 Firebird. I used that engine and all of that stuff. So I really detailed this and even added brake lines and stuff and spark plug wires and heater hoses and all kinds of detail I threw into this one. So one of my full detail builds here, and this is a Judge convertible. So I went to town on this one, but I don't plan on building this one that way. Just kind of want to build it stock out of the box, kind of like this one, with a few upgrades. I do have a few more of the resin air cleaners that I had made a mold of back then, and I'm pretty sure this was a missing link item back then. And I bought a few of them, but then I made my own mold and made a few more as I picked up more of these kits. So, and this one, here's the chassis I was going to use in this one, then decided to upgrade and go a little all out with it. So that's some of my extra parts, is the engine and tranny and stuff that I didn't go into this kit, ended up back in this box. And I got 2 more of these, but anyway, figured I would share the contents with you on this one and let you know that, with a lot of patience and time, they can be built, but they will challenge you. This one's fairly nice as far as getting everything to line up and fit, and just taking your time with the body work and taking your time with stuff. Or if you really want to kit bash and really start going crazy, like this convertible, making this was one kit for engine, a whole nother kit for the chassis, and then that kit. So 3 kits plus some unobtainable parts now, like that resin boot. That was Model Haas, the resin spoilers. But hopefully with 3D printing and all that stuff, it'll be coming out and more of this stuff will become available. But anyway, I just wanted to share this with you and, give the Pontiac guy something as well, because I don't have a whole lot of Pontiac stuff, and most of it I have built, or I've got some vintage rebuilders or whatnot. But I wanted to share this one as it's become a pretty rare kit, and you don't see it much anymore, which is, sad, but I'd love to see this one get restored and some really nice detailing and everything, comparatively like they've been doing with some of the other kits. So anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really do appreciate it. And you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.